Welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're diving into something that is literally keeping a lot of hardworking American retirees up at night, protecting your retirement wealth with physical assets in 2026. If you've even glanced at the news lately, you know the economic landscape is shifting fast. Markets are wildly volatile right now, and preserving that nest egg you've spent your entire life building, well, it's never been more critical. So we're going to break down exactly how physical precious metals fit into this whole puzzle. And we're doing an absolutely uncompromising, in-depth review of one of the oldest players in this space, Kitco Metals. We need to see if they actually deserve your trust. Let's kick things off with a pretty powerful thought from Ray Dalio, the guy who founded the world's largest hedge fund. He said, "If you don't own gold, you neither history nor economics." And wow, that hits hard right now, doesn't it? Global tensions are flaring up, inflation is just relentlessly eating away at the dollar's purchasing power, and American retirees are desperately searching for a real safe haven asset, something to stop their life savings from just evaporating. Which brings us to this incredibly staggering number, $4,320.13. That is the current near-record high price of gold for a single ounce as of mid-2026. And this massive surge, it's definitely not a blip. It's actually led Morgan Stanley's chief investment officer to issue a pretty serious warning that most retirement portfolios are dangerously underexposed. They're actually recommending up to a 20% portfolio allocation in gold right now. I mean, central banks globally are hoarding gold at a 50-year record pace. But the crazy thing? The average American retirement account holds absolutely zero physical gold. Section: What is a gold IRA? Right, so if the big institutional investors and central banks are loading up, how do we get in on this? How do you safely add gold to your nest egg without triggering an absolute tax nightmare with the IRS? Well, a gold IRA is the key vehicle here. It's a specialized, tax-advantaged retirement portfolio. It literally allows you to hold physical, tangible gold and silver, real metals you can actually touch, and you can hold them completely tax-free or tax-deferred. It works just like your standard IRA or 401k, but instead of paper stocks and bonds that can just vanish in a market crash, your wealth is anchored by hard assets. It's basically a direct shield against inflation and those sudden financial shocks we're all worried about. Now, while a gold IRA is an amazing tool, who you choose to set it up with can literally make or break your retirement. Seriously. Before you hand over a single dime of your savings, you absolutely must apply the Jerusalem Post's 5-point integrity checklist. This is how we separate the rock-solid companies from the risky ones. First, ask them, are your agents salaried educators or commission-driven salespeople looking for a huge payday? Second, what is the exact price spread? You know, that hidden markup between what they buy and sell metals for? Third, do they give you a written buyback guarantee so you aren't stuck holding the bag later? Fourth, do they use IRS-approved segregated storage? And fifth, what does their 3-year Better Business Bureau complaint history actually look like? Section: Kitco Metals in-depth review. Okay, so when we apply this exact checklist to a massive 40-year industry veteran like Kitco Metals, we find a really deep divide. On one side, sure, they have some undeniable retail strengths, a massive product catalog, excellent free market data over at Kitco News, and multiple storage options globally. But then you look at the other side. There are some glaring red flags here for IRA investors. We're talking surging Better Business Bureau complaints, severe payment delays dragging past 30 days, a historic tax fraud lawsuit, and a totally complex hidden fee structure. We really need to look closer at these red flags. Just for example, let's check out recent public records. One really alarming 2026 BBB complaint details an absolute nightmare scenario for a retiree. This customer shipped 5 gold eagles, which is worth roughly $25,000 by the way, to Kitco to sell. After enduring nearly a whole month of processing delays and the company constantly moving the target dates, Kitco just told the customer the box they received was empty. Can you imagine? The customer had to wage this massive battle just to get answers on a 25 grand loss. And it's not a one-off. Another documented case really shows a concerning pattern. A different customer suffered through this totally unexplained month-long wait just to get a $30,000 payout for silver bullion they'd already shipped in. Put yourself in their shoes for a second. Imagine the pure anxiety of checking your bank account every single morning for a month, knowing this company holds 30 grand of your hard-earned property, and their customer service lines are either dropping or keeping you on hold for half an hour at a time. It's incredibly stressful. Plus, we kind of have to address their corporate history. Back in 2013, Kitco faced a massive tax fraud lawsuit. Revenue Quebec actively sought $750 million in fines from Kitco's founder and directors over tax rebate claims. Now, yes, it's a decade old, but a $750 million fraud allegation? That is a very dark shadow. And it's a shadow that's incredibly hard to just ignore when you're trusting a company with your life savings in 2026. And wrapping back to our 5-point integrity checklist from earlier, Kitco just completely fails on fee transparency. Here's the deal. They don't provide one clear, unified fee table anywhere. Because they partner with 12 different IRA custodians, they leave it up to you, the investor, to basically play detective. You have to manually hunt down and compare fee schedules across a dozen third parties. When you're rolling over retirement money, you want absolute clarity upfront for sure. You definitely don't want a frustrating homework assignment just to figure out what you're being charged. Section: Top-rated gold IRAs. If that kind of anxiety and frustration is what happens when you pick the wrong partner, let's look at the profound peace of mind you get with the top-rated companies for 2026, the ones who actually pass that integrity checklist with flying colors. Take Augusta Precious Metals, currently rated #1 by multiple independent outlets. They completely flip the script. While Kitco is struggling with BBB complaints and hiding fees, Augusta uses salaried Harvard-trained educators. Let me just emphasize that. Salaried educators, no commission-driven salespeople aggressively pushing you into a purchase. And this model works because they have a pristine, near-zero complaint record across all the consumer watchdogs. Plus, they give you a lifetime buyback guarantee, entirely in writing. And the process itself, it's honestly a breeze. With top-tier companies like Augusta and Goldco, you never have to navigate some maze of paperwork alone. Step 1 is just a pure education consultation. Then, for step 2, they literally hold your hand and handle all that complex rollover paperwork from your existing 401k or IRA directly for you. And the best part, it's totally penalty-free and tax-free because it's a direct custodian-to-custodian transfer. Then, finally, step 3, your metals are purchased and safely locked away in an IRS-approved, fully insured depository. Easy. Now, I should mention, Augusta does require a $50,000 minimum investment. If that's a bit too steep for your current portfolio right now, American Hartford Gold is the premier choice for beginners. They only require a $10,000 minimum to get started. They boast an A+ BBB rating and offer this deeply guided, really supportive onboarding process that is just perfect if you're a first-time precious metals investor. They've got everything covered, from traditional to Roth and SEP IRAs. Section: Secure your free guide. So, now that we've looked at the very real risks of going it alone with a company that lacks transparency, and we've explored the massive benefits of a top-tier provider who actually prioritizes educating you, you might be sitting there asking yourself, okay, but which precious metals are the absolute best fit for my specific retirement timeline? Should I go heavier in gold? Or maybe silver? How do I actually preserve the wealth I've spent decades building? And honestly, those are exactly the right questions you should be asking right now. To answer those questions and to safely navigate this whole landscape without hitting the red flags we talked about today, you need the right info in your hands. Check the link in the description to claim your absolutely free 2026 Gold IRA guide from our top-rated company right now. Because look, the question isn't whether the economic landscape is shifting. We know it is. The real question is, will you let inflation quietly erase your life's work, or will you take action to build an unbreakable financial fortress? What's your next move going to be? Thanks for joining this explainer.